Everywhere you look, someone is telling businesses to adopt AI. They say things like use ChatGPT, build AI agents, automate everything in your business. And on the surface, it does look like businesses are listening. Recent research shows that nearly 90% of small and medium-sized businesses are already using at least one AI tool. That's 90%, 90%. Yet, despite the level of adoption, most businesses still aren't seeing meaningful results. In fact, fewer than 1 in 5 have successfully integrated AI across their operations. So what's going on? If almost everyone is using AI, why are so few businesses actually benefiting from it? That's what I want to unpack today, because after speaking with business owners every week, I don't think the problem is AI. I think the problem is how we are approaching it. Welcome back to the Bumper Blueprint podcast. I'm Jovana Vujnic, and lately I've noticed two very different conversations happening. The first group of businesses are worried they're falling behind because they're not using enough AI. The second group have already signed up to ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Copilot, or half a dozen other tools. And they're wondering why life hasn't become magically easier. They're creating content faster, they're summarizing meetings, they're running emails, but they're not seeing the business transformation everyone keeps talking about. And to tell you the truth, I think that's because most businesses are starting in the wrong place. This is what I call the AI adoption paradox. The numbers tell an interesting story. 62% of SMBs say they don't fully understand the practical benefits AI could bring to their business. 55% say cost is holding them back because they are unsure of the return. And yet almost everyone is experimenting. So we're in this strange position where businesses know they should be doing something with AI, but they're not entirely sure what that something is, which creates overwhelm. And overwhelm usually leads to one of two things: doing nothing or buying tools and hoping they'll solve the problem. So let's do a quick reality check. Instead of talking about another AI tool today, I want to ask you a few questions, because the answers will tell you more about your AI readiness than any software demo ever could. So let's unpack this a bit more. And the first question I would ask is, what problems are you trying to solve? This sounds obvious, but it's where most businesses get stuck. If I asked you right now, why do you want AI? What would your answer be? Would it be, everyone else is using it? Or would it be, we spend 10 hours a week creating proposals? Or we lose leads because follow-up is inconsistent? Or our customer service team spends half their day answering the same questions? Those are very different starting points, and AI works best when attached to a specific problem, not a trend, not Claude, as we keep seeing online. So question number 2 would be, how many AI subscriptions are you paying for? Be honest, how many tools are you currently paying for? ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, a meeting recorder, a content assistant, an AI scheduler, and now here's the follow-up question, guys. How many of those tools are part of an actual workflow? Because there's a big difference between using AI occasionally and integrating AI into the way your business operates. I see a lot of businesses collecting tools. Very few are building systems. So as you can see, you could easily be paying a lot of money to different tools that you may be using only 1% of the time. Question number 3. Where does your team lose time every week? Think about your team, or if you're a solo business owner, think about yourself. Where does your time disappear? Is it follow-ups, scheduling, onboarding, reporting, quoting, admin? Because these are often the best places to start. Not with content, not with the new shiny new technology or a tool. It's with friction. AI should remove friction. And that's where value comes from. Question number 4. Are you automating something that already doesn't work? This is probably the biggest mistake I see. Businesses have disconnected systems, inconsistent processes, and scattered customer data. And then they add AI on top of that, hoping that it will fix everything. But AI doesn't fix fragmented systems, messy operations. It actually makes them worse. It amplifies all the problems you might currently have in your business. So if your onboarding process is confusing today, AI will help you scale confusion faster. If your customer data lives in 5 different places, your AI won't magically create clarity. It will inherit the same problem, which is why strategy has to come before automation. Every time. Question number 5, who owns AI in your business? This one catches people off guard. Who's responsible for AI in your business? So not using it, who is owning it? Who is deciding where it gets used? How success is measured? What processes should we change? Because if the answer is everybody, it often means nobody owns it. And without ownership, adoption stalls. So this is an example. I was just talking to a business where they do a lot of in-house training on AI, and the manager has mandated that every single person has to now adopt AI into their job. So they need to use Claude or ChatGPT or whatever they're paying for. And what I found is that people are getting overwhelmed. They're getting distracted. They are sidetracked. They're often frustrated because now your skills are having to manage an AI agent or an AI tool, and that's not your strength. So there's all these new skills popping up in your job, in your daily job that you used to know how to do without AI. So this is why ownership is important, and this is why ownership will help everyone adopt AI in their jobs. Question 6, can you measure the result? Let's say you implemented AI tomorrow. How would you know if it worked? Would you save, let's say, 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, improve response times, generate more leads, reduce admin? Because if success isn't measurable, ROI becomes impossible to prove. And that's why so many businesses feel disappointed. They're measuring the tool, not the outcome. It's very common, actually, across a lot of businesses I've spoken to. So after reading the research and talking to business owners, here's the conclusion I've come to. Most businesses don't have an AI problem, they have a strategy problem. They're asking, what tool should I buy? When they should really be asking, what business problem am I trying to solve? Those are very different conversations. The businesses getting results from AI aren't necessarily using more tools. They're actually using them more intentionally. They understand the customer journey, the bottlenecks, the repetitive tasks, the operational friction, and then they apply AI where it creates the most value. What I would do if I was starting today is, if I were looking at AI for my business right now, I'd start with 3 questions. What is wasting the most time? What is frustrating customers the most? And what is preventing growth? Start there, not with the software. Start with the business problem, because once you identify the friction, the right AI solution becomes much easier to find. So if you've experimented with AI and haven't seen the results you expected, you're not alone. As you saw, 90% of businesses use AI, but do they actually adopt them properly in their business? The research says that most businesses are exactly in the same position. The good news, you probably don't need more tools. You need a clearer strategy, because the businesses that win with AI won't be the ones with the biggest software stack. They'll be the ones who understand where AI fits into the customer journey, their operations, and their growth plans. That's the real opportunity. And if you're listening to this thinking, we've tried a few AI tools, but we're still not sure whether we're using them properly, that's exactly the conversation I have with business owners every week. At Bumper Leads, we help businesses identify where AI can really create value, where it's creating unnecessary complexity, and how to implement it in a way that supports your team rather than overwhelms it. So if you'd like an outside perspective on where AI fits into your business, head to bumperleads.com and book a chat. We'll look at your systems, your customer journey, your workflows, and help you identify where AI can make the biggest impact. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.